Hi everyone, my name is Beth Mudharia, a secondary school teacher in Kenya and a mental health coach. Today, I would like us to discuss on how we as parents, can help reducing damaging stress and promote the children's psychological well-being. Before I talk about that, I would like to give a personal experience. I had a brother who was younger than me, a very bright boy from class 1 to class 8. He was always in position 1, very bright, very jolly, ever smiling, and a lot of laughter. He did well in his KCP and he went to one of the national schools and he did well. But my brother used to talk of getting one grade. He was so rigid in his grade, the Form 4 grade that he would get. He talked about B+. By then, the time he did the KCP and KCSE, the B+ was a grade that could take you to very good courses. And he just wanted a B+. And this would concern me so much because I would ask him, why don't you give yourself a range? You can get a B- or you can get an A-, and they would take you to the university of your choice. But my brother would keep saying, no, I must get a B+ and a B+. There, he was so rigid, and I used to really worry, what would happen if this boy does not get a B+? By the grace of God, he got his B+. And at the point of going to the university, he was admitted for the degree in medicine. That was not his choice, but it was my father's choice. So when he was given that course, he wanted to change, but my father persuaded him. He even called me to talk to him, to tell him how medicine is going to be a great cause for him. He was such an obedient child. He adhered to his father's call and advice, and he went for medicine. But that was not his course. He wanted to do engineering. This boy, his background, as a young boy, he used to make a lot of toy cars. And he would even have a display of these very many toy cars somewhere on my mother's kitchen roof. And to me, this boy was an engineer, not a doctor. But he was persuaded to do the course. That was okay because he agreed. But when he was in his second year, you see, I have already told you he was a rigid person. When he fixed on something, that's whatever he wanted, that's what he would want to get. He also used to say he cannot fail in his exams. But I used to tell him, don't worry about failing in any exam because you can always recite for them. But he would say, no, I can't fail. But something happened, he failed one of his cards, one of his papers, and he had to redo it. And that put him off guard. And he started developing mental health issues. I'm sorry to say that by and by it worsened. None of us were able to pick that our brother was having issues. He was being treated, but none of us got to know what was being treated for. But by and by, he became worse, and he never completed his university because he died as a result of something related to mental health. That's a sad story. And I am asking myself, and I have always asked myself, what could we have done differently as parents? Could we have helped our brother? Could my parents have helped our brother that he didn't get the condition that he was in? Could we have detected this problem early enough and sought help early enough that it would not get to that? So, as I said in the other video, is that most of the symptoms in mental health are normally detected in early childhood. By the time the child is 14, you can always detect some of these problems of mental health. But the problem is that we are not aware that that's an issue, or we don't seek help for such because we don't think it's something serious. If we had been aware of what maybe symptoms we would have looked for, probably would have solved and helped our brother. It is said that 1 out of 5 children will experience mental health illness in a given year. This is according to CDC, that is Center for Disease Control, and mainly this is in America, but for us it may be more or less that figure. That's a high statistic. If 1 out of 5 children will experience mental health illness, it's something that we need to think about as parents and ask ourselves, how can we help our children not to get to that point? What could we have done as a family to protect our brother? Generally, safety is one important thing that we need to create for our children. Our homes should be a place for safety. When our children think of going home or staying at home, it should be a place that is safe. In this way, if a child doesn't perform well in school and they have done the exam and they are taking the results home, does a child feel safe as he brings in that report card to you as a parent? What will be your reaction? So, your child's performance is not as important as your child's mental health. So, parents should help their children and know that the performance in school is good, but mental health for your child is better. Let the child know that they have a home, whether they have failed in their exams, whether they are not doing the best in school, at least at home, they'll be safe. No one is going to harass them because of their grades. So provide opportunity at home for these children to ask questions. For us who are older, we know that most of the times when our fathers were coming at home in the evening, most of the children would rush to their bedrooms, onto their beds, so that when the father arrives, you are not there. I don't know. That is not a good situation to give to our children. Children should feel safe and comfortable. So fathers, please allow your children to be free to talk to you. Let them share their fears and let them know that if they have problems, they can always come to you. Let them know if they fail in their exams, if they're not doing well in school, they will still be accepted for who they are and not what they are doing. As parents, we need to create structure and routine, especially now that the children are at home, because routine and structure help reduce stress and anxiety. So the routine will help this child. The anxiety of making decision, the anxiety of guessing what to do. So the daily structure and routine gives the child that sense of safety and predictability. They know what they are expected to do at any one particular time, and it is not their responsibility of probably to think of what to do because somebody has thought about it, and they will feel safe and secure. The other thing that we can do as parents is to teach them how to cope with stress, resiliency. We have been giving them everything that they need. We provide everything that they need. But have we taught our children how to cope with stress after something happens to them? How do they bounce back from the stress and adversity? How will they come back to the position they were in? Something has happened in the family. Something has happened in their life. How can they bounce back safely without stress, without depression? How can they come back? We know that our children are with the other children, and sometimes they face social rejection. There's normally bullying when they mix with their fellow children. Some of them are experiencing academic difficulties, and this one brings them to that anxiety and stress. Illness and trauma can cause a lot of anxiety and that trauma. Right now, our children are out of school, and this is a major thing that is affecting our children. They are feeling that they have lost a whole 1 year, and they don't know who to run to. They don't see as if we are helping them. So as parents, we should teach our children to cope with stress and to help them to come back to where they were before the stressor or the stressing moment came to be. So let us teach our children how to cope with stress and how to come back from to come back to where they were before the trauma or the stress set in. Another thing that we may need to do as parents is to reduce parental distress and conflict. Our children, they have no experience or emotional maturity that is necessary to deal with the problems that their parents have. Like financial issues, children, they don't understand about those financial issues. When you as a family, you are having legal problems, marital disorders, like divorce and all that, all these things are so overwhelming to these children. So when you let them get to be at the center of these problems, definitely you are creating an environment for a mental disorder for these children. So to us as parents, I would request us to reduce parental distress and conflict, especially in the presence of your children. Deal with your issues privately, away from your children. Academic issues. The system that we have in the academic system that we have that equate academic achievement with success can be a stressor to the children. All children are not well endowed academically. Some of them will not do well. And when they don't do well in school and then they are made to look like they are failures, it's something that can bring stress to them. What can we do as the adults, as the children, maybe even as the government, to help these children that are not doing well academically not to feel like they are failures? You know, if somebody does not get good grades, they don't even get the jobs. Because when we are for job advertisement, you must have done well academically. So what can we do to help our children so that even when they are not doing well academically, they can be praised in their area without stressing them so much on academic issues. So as parents, we need to get to know about our children. How are they doing? Are they know their strength academically, know their weaknesses in academics, and help them appropriately. Never look at your child's failure in exams as your child's overall failure. So, set realistic goals for your child based on their abilities, and do not compare them with other people's children or one child with another of your children. Let each child be of their own, and do not compare them with other children. As a parent, you should be an advocate for your children. You should be their cheerleader in education. As I have said, remember, mental health is far more important than the grades. Help your children to practice positive mental attitude. Children learn more from their parents or from the adults, and your attitude is likely to be copied by your children. So if you are positive, there'll be a child that is going to follow you in your positive attitude. If you are always negative, there is going to be a child that is going to follow your negative attitude. It's copied. So how can we as parents, how can we as adults be positive around our children so that they can also be positive? It is good to teach them to follow us, and don't be negative so that they will follow you in your positive attitude. Spirituality, the spiritual life of your child. A child who understands that there is a God who created him or her, and they can connect with this God through prayers and worship. This child can cope with stress in a better manner. So we as parents, can we help our children so that we can be able to detect their problems, being around them, being near them, participating in every aspect of their lives? Will help us to know them better, will help us to detect some of the problems that they could be having. And when we detect these problems, we should seek help for them so that they are helped. They normally tell us prevention is better than cure. Early detection will help us solve our children's potential years of brokenness. So when we do these things, we'll be, even if it is one thing that you may do that can help your child, it will be good for us to do that. So I want to believe that somebody has been helped and somebody has got something that can be of help to their children. So I would request that you follow us up in this channel and you will be blessed. Thank you.